You just clicked on a gem. I'm going to tell you how I made my first $93,000 a year in this secret industry in tech without an experience, without having a degree that a lot of people don't talk about. Obviously, you're probably watching this because either you're confused, maybe you were intrigued by one of my videos, maybe you have no guidance in breaking into a tech career, maybe you have no experience working remotely or working in tech. Maybe you're just looking for resume help. You don't know what's important on a resume. You don't know how to use your resume to get the attention of a recruiter, and you're not getting any interviews scheduled. Or you need help with the interview skills. That's honestly the most important part of landing a remote job. Having the confidence to ask a recruiter for a high salary, having the knowledge to not say a number first so that you don't lowball yourself, are all things that I'm going to cover in this video because no one else told me how to do it when I was trying to break into tech. Now, anyone can actually achieve $5,000 to $10,000 a month working in a tech sales career without any prior knowledge. I did it myself. My name is Sharif, and I went to one of the best colleges at the University of Michigan, and I was majoring in computer science. When the pandemic hit and we were all quarantined, confined to our homes, I made the decision to drop out of college. I was studying in my room. It was a really, really, really tough challenge because I was in classes for Calculus 2, Computer Science 200, and these subjects required so much focus and so much concentration to be able to self teach them without having access to the math lab, access to the library, access to my teacher, access to my peers. And it made it even tougher to focus because it was very, very rare for me ever to find a quiet moment. Being that my entire family was quarantined in the same home, my dad, maybe he was playing music, maybe he was working out, maybe my brother was playing the video game, maybe he was screaming, yelling. And it was very hectic, very chaotic, and it was impossible, like I said, to focus. Now, that combination of shouting, music blasting, when I was trying to study, when I was taking tests, made me kind of think. And honestly, I got to the decision that I wanted to stop wasting my time and focus on making money in the real world. Now, at that point, I had experimented a little bit with selling real estate on the side. I had my real estate license, but I decided I wanted to dive on the deep end and go full time with this. So I left my parents' house and moved into my own small studio apartment so that I could make my own decisions and start a new chapter in my life. But since real estate sales only pays commission, I had to get a full time job at Amazon warehouse so that I could make enough money to cover my basic living expenses. And it literally seemed like I was putting in so much work, so much effort. I would drive around and show countless houses. I would spend my days making 300 cold calls. And most of the time, I was hearing harsh rejections. I was getting cussed out. And I was getting hung up on. On top of that, when I was working for my buyer clients, I would have to go around for hours driving, showing houses, same thing on the listing appointment, driving to the houses, sitting down 4 hours, trying to give them a presentation on why they should select me to market and sell their home, just for another agent to come by and offer them to do the deal for half price commission. It was tough. And on top of that, I'd have to come home every single night, leave my apartment by 2:30 in the morning to go scan and pack boxes at Amazon for Jeff Bezos. And typically, I would get off either 8 a.m. the next morning or 1 p.m. in that next afternoon if it was a flex shift. And then I would have to rush, put my suit and tie on, and I would literally spend the rest of the day showing houses, presenting houses, doing listing appointments until it was late at night. And I had literally had to repeat that vicious cycle over and over and over again. But eventually, I quit Amazon. I actually had gotten written up for having my AirPods. At that time, I had the wires, and I would have my hood on because it was January, December, cold months out the year. And even though I physically was in a warehouse, mentally, I was somewhere else. I was listening to mindset podcasts, listening to audiobooks, and I just couldn't take it any longer. Real estate, I had deals falling through. Amazon, I was getting written up. And finally, I had some hope because I landed a remote job at a call center making $15 per hour. So, as a customer service representative, I had to literally be attached with a headset to my computer that was then attached to the Wi Fi with the Ethernet, and I had to log on with a VPN. So, I literally could not move. I could not do the work from anywhere else. And I kind of felt trapped with no freedom. It was all inbound calls, too. So I only had about 2 minutes to disposition or take notes on the current call before the next call would automatically come in and ring in my ear. Otherwise, if I took any longer than those 2 minutes, my manager would send me a message on Teams, or they would send me a huddle or send me a Zoom invite and be like, hey, what's going on? And it was really, really intense because in one ear, I had to deal with unhappy customers on one side. And like during training, my manager would be in the other ear telling me what I'm saying wrong, how I should say this differently, while the other customer was saying they didn't get this login, they didn't get this service. And I literally felt like my head was going to explode. The pressure was super intense, and it honestly was almost too much to handle, especially for $15 an hour. But luckily, everything changed when I was just scrolling on my phone on TikTok when I had seen a video about a work from home account executive job in software sales. And this role offered a really, really good base salary plus commissions on top with a earning potential of 6 figures. So at that point, I already knew what I needed to do next. And I sent over 400 job applications, but I was turned down for every single one. Now, in total, I've been on over 125 interviews, and a lot of times I've reached the third round, only to then get ignored, or I've been super, super close to actually getting that offer, and then I get ghosted by a recruiter, or they say the hiring manager actually changed the responsibilities. Maybe now they're looking for someone with agency experience, or they're looking for someone with more fintech experience. So they almost made me seem like I was out of place, but I had come to a realization that securing this remote job was still the most important thing in my life because it was going to unlock a steady income stream, and it was almost like having a money printer from my computer. I just had to type, think, do, and I was going to get a check every 2 weeks. So, what I had to learn was not taking these rejections personally, just using these failures or these losses as lessons to help me reach my goal. And honestly, when I was about to give up, I had one email response back from a company that said I actually would be a better fit for the entry level beginner sales development representative role, which gave me new hope and it gave me a new direction to then aim. So at that point, I revamped my resume. I committed to applying to 50 jobs every single day. And then I finally started to get some interviews. But the challenge was actually landing that job. I wondered, how do these professional athletes improve day after day, game after game? Well, it clicked. They study their game footage, which helped them to understand their strengths and understand their weaknesses and see what they either did well or what they could improve on for the next game. But the thing was, I didn't have any game footage of my interviews until I discovered the Loom video extension tool, which is actually what I'm using right now to record this video that you're watching. And I used it to discreetly record all of my interviews so that I could look back and learn from what I did well and see what I needed to work on. It also allowed me to be able to write follow up emails, to really just have information on the specific points of things that we talked about during the actual call. So after preparing thoroughly for the interviews, reviewing my clips, and just seeing what I could do and get better, and actually applying all of those tips, I secured my first offer in tech. It was 50K, and I could work remote, work from home, and I literally received all this free equipment, MacBook Pro, monitor, keyboard, Apple mouse, and I still have it to this day. And since that first role, I've job topped multiple times, and I've now actually doubled my yearly salary in one of the most competitive and most complex job markets that we've ever seen using this money printing method. Now, it was a grind. I didn't have a game plan going forward and going into it, but I knew that if I showed you exactly how I did it step by step, you would be able to get the same results. And I also came to the realization that going into 2024, and especially these last few years, software sales is the best way to make 10K a month, especially if you don't want to spend your time starting a business, creating content, doing marketing, running ads, selling crypto, or risking any of your hard earned money. Then the Wealth Club is for you. 3 years ago, I actually created the Wealth Club and my step by step plan, which included added daily help, a community of support, and automated services like resume send out to actually assist you every single day until you get the desired offer in tech that you're looking for. And again, that's without having a formal degree or certifications. So, who is the Wealth Club and who is this community actually for? Well, people who don't know how to create a winning resume, people who don't know how to get interviews. Maybe you're someone who has landed some interviews, but you haven't moved on in the process. You haven't received any offers, or maybe you have just got some low paying offers, some commission only offers, things that you wouldn't want to accept. As well, we're actually looking for the action takers, the people who want location freedom, the people who want to have time freedom, not spend a couple hours out the day sitting in traffic, having to get ready, having to drive in office, having to just wake up early. And finally, the people who want 10K a month and have that financial freedom. But there's a few people who we do not want inside of our community. The people who aren't the real winners, these are the people who are losers, the people who don't have the right mindset, the people who want to sit back, make excuses, and just wait for the results to fall in their lap, who don't have that growth mindset, who are open to upskilling, adding more knowledge so that they can then add value to the professional marketplace and comfortably and confidently ask an employer for a top paying salary. Now, if you're not a risk taker, if you're scared to bet on yourself, and if you're scared to trust others who have already achieved the results that you desire and that you want, and just be able to ask them for a helping hand to pull you up. And then finally, people who don't understand that there's not always another opportunity. The world is changing at an unprecedented pace. And especially now with AI, it's changing even faster. So you have to capitalize in the present moment when life gives you lemons. When you have an opportunity, you have to take it. The universe is watching. Now, members of the Wealth Club are getting hired as SDRs, account executives, customer success managers, project managers, social media managers, remote jobs all across the nation, and most of them haven't worked in a tech role or remotely before. So in 3 phases, Wealth Club will get you hired. The first step is perfecting your resume so that it consistently will beat the applicant tracking system or the AI software that's being used to scan your resume, identify pinpoint keywords, and then consistently pick you for the interviews. Phase 2, our team will send out 30 plus applications every day for you consistently so that you have new interviews, new opportunities in your email inbox and on the calendar. And phase 3, we prepare you for these interviews via our group calls that we do multiple times out the week. We'll do mock pitches with you, mock cold calls with you, and we have some other platforms and partnerships so that you can actually earn money and experience just setting qualified appointments up for other software companies that are either business to business or business to consumer. Now, this exact system that I have set up to get you hired in 3 phases in 30 to 45 days so that you can gain that location freedom and gain the tools and the network needed to invest so that you can potentially become financially free is what I'm offering to you. Now, I could spend more time and go over specifically why tech sales is one of the best remote jobs for you, but I think you get the point. Now, money is what you pay, value is what you're going to be getting. So you're going to get one-on-one feedback to help revamp and update your resume. We're going to help you optimize your LinkedIn. We're going to give you step-by-step tips to getting hired. We're going to give you mindset and productivity content so that you can improve on your habits and make sure you're hitting everything every single day to get to where you want to get. And again, like I mentioned, we're going to show you how to earn money as a freelancer. But we also have a really cool tool, our job board, where we will give you referrals. And we have a network of other tech professionals so that, again, whether you get laid off in the future or whether you're just looking to job hop, job stack, you're always going to have new opportunities and the top connections in the tech sales and just the tech space as a whole. And myself, I've been in sales since I was 14 years old. I've read dozens of books on self development, objection handling, mindset, habits, and I'm giving all my knowledge away that I've gained from constantly trying and failing so that you don't have to spend the same 10 years and make all the mistakes that I made just to get here. So, finally, because I understand this process down to a science and because the supply is very short, but the demand, the people who are begging me to get in this community is extremely high. It's over 20,000 people. I'm only selecting 20 people to join my community this week so that we can help you achieve that remote role in 30 to 45 days. And again, with supply and demand, as the spots fill up, the price has to go up. Simple economics. But if you're selected to join, you're going to have early bird pricing that's locked in forever. So finally, I want you to DM me, I'm in, on my Instagram if you're tired of being broke, if you're tired of working in person, you actually want to achieve close to six figures in 30 to 45 days, DM me, I'm in, and I'll see you inside.